What's up, everybody? We are live. This is episode 5 of the MrCheckpoint podcast. We're streaming live on Twitch, Kick, X, YouTube, anywhere where you, Instagram, and then we post these on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you listen to a podcast. You can search MrCheckpoint. Our guest tonight is the Pot Brothers at Law. We are really thankful to have them. If you have any questions, let us know. You can hear us in the chat. Let us know if you have a question, what it is in the chat. And we are about to have the Pot Brothers at Law. If you don't know who they are, you're going to learn. They are an important piece of our rights and knowing our rights and advocacy in this. And we're looking forward to having this conversation with them. I think we have a video to drop and we could have them come on here. Let's see. Here we are, Mark and Craig, the Pot Brothers at Law, the man's behind the Instagram account that many of us have seen. They have the infamous phrase, shut the fuck up, right?
That is right. Shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. We actually have shut the fuck up and hashtag STFU trademarked for legal services.
Wow. And we're going to dive right in to what I get. Let's jump right in. What is that? Let's go right away.
It's the script. So, I mean, let's just do it right out the gate, big bro. This is what you do when you get pulled over. You know, when the cops first come up, and they say, hey, you know, where are you going so fast? What's the rush? What's going on? What do you say?
Why'd you pull me over?
And you're saying it politely, not like rude and mean like he looks right now. Like, you know, but you want to be polite when you say it.
Why'd you pull me over?
And then because you were speeding, your light was out, whatever it is. Now tell me, are there drugs in the car?
I'm not discussing my day.
Oh, wow. I don't care about your day. Is there drugs? Is there guns? Are you a gang member?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You're being detained. I want you out of the car and answering my questions. Are you going to answer my questions?
I invoke the fifth.
Yeah, but I'm still going to keep asking you questions until I make you say what I want, because I could lie and say whatever I want. So are you going to tell me where the drugs are?
And then I'm shutting the fuck up.
Well, actually, before that, you're going to do something else because we just added it.
No, that was a unilateral decision on when to add it.
Do it now.
There's an addition.
Unilateral decision on when to add it. I don't agree necessarily that it's before we can get Senate's opinion on this.
What is it?
Wow. We had a really good question from a follower who asked us, because we've done videos now about requesting an attorney to be present, because what someone asked us was, what if you stick to the script, you go through the whole thing, you invoke the fifth, you stick to the script, and you know you do the whole thing,
you shut the fuck up.
Right. What happens after that?
In the script, it's not asking for an attorney. Is that what it is?
It is now. It's now 29 words.
So the question was from the follower, the question was, if I do what you say, invoke this, say this, do that, and then later the cop is able to get me to talk, do I, what happens? Well, you've waived your right again, and all the shit that you invoked now has been waived. If they keep asking you, even though you invoked the fifth, and even though you shut the fuck up and invoked your Fifth Amendment, doesn't matter.
10 hours later.
Correct. It doesn't matter. They can keep asking you questions, just like you see on TV in the interrogation room, until the guy says, I want my lawyer to be present. Then all questions stop. And if they violate it after that and get you to crack, then that's going to get thrown out. So adding in, I want my lawyer during questioning, came into the equation. And I'll even give our good friend Attorney Rosenberg. I mean, his
Make
don't
no
talk to the
statement. I
tank.
want my lawyer.
We just did some, you know, collaborative content with him about not talking in the tank, because we've had so many criminal clients who talked in the tank and they got fucked. They talked to the wrong guy. They talked to an informant. They talked to undercover.
Yeah.
And
talking
so
in the tank, that's where the guy,
it's a
you're
great
in the cell and the
that's
person's in the cell and
Nicholas's,
going, what did you do? What
Yeah.
happened? Right. And then they can, everything you're saying to that person in the cell is going to be used against you in court.
So STFU
Right.
applies everywhere. And we love Nicholas, his little coin. He coined "Don't talk in the tank." So we did a little collab with him, but it's the same principle. No matter where you are, do not talk.
So
STFU.
as you might remember, Senate, our script originally was those 25 words. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? If detained, you must say, I invoke the fifth, and you shut the fuck up. And now it's not unilateral because you told me we're going to change the stickers. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? I invoke the fifth. I want my lawyer, and then shut the fuck up. That's now the new 29 word script.
Okay.
I think it's something that I've actually been saying is like, whenever you're saying that, whenever you're invoking the fifth, in my opinion, invoking it and saying I remain silent until my attorney's present or whatever, if you know, and that's just one way, right? But
no, we think it's the right way.
Yeah, it's saying
It
I
covers
remain
more
silent
bases
until my attorney's present, period. Then I think legally they realize, oh shit, we can't talk to them. And even, and what about someone who says, well, I don't have a lawyer? They're still entitled to the public defender.
No, it doesn't matter.
Listen.
Good job. Yeah.
People, that's like a misnomer, right? I want my attorney to be present. Doesn't mean you have an attorney. It means, because if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. And we could talk about Miranda for a second if you want, because people misunderstand, because they'll talk and talk and talk, and then they'll get in trouble, then tell us, oh, they didn't give us the Miranda warning. Well, they didn't have to.
It means nothing.
No, it means a lot. Okay. But what people don't understand is that you have the right to STFU. You have the right to invoke your fifth. I'm not going to incriminate myself at any time of the day or night, right? The Miranda warning is the Supreme Court saying this is when a cop has to tell you these rights. That doesn't mean you don't have them before they have to tell you them. So people get that twisted a little bit. They think, oh, they didn't tell me, so I'm good. They didn't give me the Miranda warning. Well, they might not have had to. You might have been bullshitting with them and never been detained or never been in custodial detainment. So,
and you're entitled to your attorney at every stage of the legal proceedings, which doesn't include while you're being pulled over. Because you have people going, well, I'm calling my attorney right now, which you can, it's, you know, but it's of no consequence because you have that right, like my brother said, to shut the fuck up. And then when you get to the arraignment, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided to you. So to get back to what we're talking about in the Sixth Amendment, saying, I want my lawyer, you don't have to have one on retainer. You don't have to know one. You just have to have one when you appear at that arraignment, which can be private or court appointed.
That's such a good point and important. There's one thing, because we went right into the script, but what would you suggest if someone can safely do it before they pull over that they start doing before the script?
Always film. So look, so I'm glad you said that because, you know, we've always agreed with you. And when, you know, you have your car, your phone mounted, you're looking at it for the directions or whatever, make sure it's pointed towards the window.
Wait, let me interrupt real quick. Because I think Senate doesn't realize that I would say the majority of our content and our tips end with, before we added the ask for your lawyer, it ended with one way or the other. It said, do not consent to a search and always film
the police.
Or always film the police, never consent to a search. It's been that way. Look at 90% of our videos, we say that.
So we're heavy believers. And as I was saying, be ready. When you get in your car to drive, you need to be ready to be pulled over, which
I
means
love that.
have
That's
your
amazing.
license, insurance, and registration clipped to your visor. So when you have to get it, you're going from your steering wheel to your visor. Have your phone mounted and pointed towards the window of the driver's side and ready to go. So you see the lights, you hit record, and then you get pulled over. You stick to the script. You're moving your hands from here to here. So there's no, oh, don't reach over there. Don't do that. Your license.
No, better yet,
there.
better yet, Senate. I know you at one point you looked into these, and I don't know what you ever did with it, but I wanted to do it myself. Is I bought one of those 360-degree cameras that has a front lens and a rear camera, front camera and a rear camera, and for like $29, this thing, I wired it myself. And for me to actually have wired this from the front to the back and hooked it up is stupid easy. And it's better than a phone because they can take your phone, it can break, it could fall down.
My only thing with those cameras, and I could be wrong on all of them because some are different, but once you turn the car off, some of them turn off. And my only thing is if you're having an interaction with the officer, you might obviously take your keys out the ignition. So I would be mindful that the camera stays on.
That's
once you do that. That's the one thing. But wait, I do want to say one thing. When I filmed the police in 2013 in Santa Monica, I was pulled over in Santa Monica at night. The officer said, follow my fingers for, he suspected I was DUI. I did commit a traffic violation. I made a right on a red. It said no right on red. But then he's going down the road of a DUI. And so I say this to say I started filming that interaction. And the two things I want to mention is I did it from my lock screen of my phone. And then I put the phone down. So there's no video of it. It's actually just audio. And the other thing I want to mention about it is when I was in a jail cell that night, I was watching, just what was going on or could see. And the officer had my phone in his hand. And he could see the alerts on my phone. I want to just let everyone know the best thing, in my opinion, to do is to have your phone with a passcode, not thumbprint, not facial recognition. They could end up getting a warrant from a judge. They could force you. We know cops do things they shouldn't do. But you have a Fifth Amendment right to always refuse. Well, no, to remain silent, to not incriminate yourself. And you'll never be penalized for saying, I'm not telling you this password to get in my phone. And I know that if the officer that night could have gone on my phone and deleted the footage that I had of him arresting me because I'm exercising my right to refuse a field sobriety test, he would have. I believe that.
Yeah.
And that's why the passcode's so important, because once you're arrested, they're going to have your phone.
Well, and then they bring that up. We've done a video on this. The thumbprint there's a unfortunate ruling that says it's okay for them to take your finger and put it on the phone because it's just like taking your fingerprint at the station.
Wow.
So that's okay. And that's an unfortunate case. People versus Payne, Payne, that came down not too long ago. And that's why we did and then the facial thing, all they got to do is wave it in front of your face. I mean, that's easy. So like you said, just a passcode, and they can't.
But when you're doing the facial recognition, you got to make a really, really ugly face when you're setting the facial code.
No facial recognition, no thumbprint.
I'm kidding.
I know. Kidding. Passcode only. I want to know how you two become the Pot Brothers at Law.
That's a long.
My brother forced me to smoke pot.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'll give the quick rundown.
Yeah.
Quick. What?
Quick. We talked about this.
Yeah. Well, see, you're interrupting me again. Now it makes it longer. Let me get through it. This is quick. This is the quick version. My brother became an attorney in 1986. I became an attorney in 1996. In 1996, Prop 215 was enacted in California, giving cannabis patients their rights. I went right into criminal defense and defending cannabis patients who were being wrongfully arrested. My brother had been doing all this business stuff, mergers, acquisitions, and this, that, litigation, work comp, personal injury, and he was doing all sorts of other different things. And then we fast forward to the early 2000s when we both had to represent my nephew, my brother's son, Jarrett J. Cures from West Coast Cure, who has
Shout
been
out
in
Jay
the game
Cures, West Coast Cure.
God knows how long, and he got busted for cannabis felonies. We taught him back then, shut the fuck up. You don't say
There you
anything.
go. There's the bag.
And we beat 2 different cases,
Hey.
7 different felonies, not because they busted him for operating illegally, because he was operating legally within the laws, but because he shut the fuck up and the cops lied. And so then would come the day when he said, you guys got to get on social media and teach people what you taught me. Nobody's doing it. You got to get on Instagram. And we were both like, what's Instagram? We're on Facebook. And, this is 10 years ago plus, right? This is over 10 years ago. And we're like, we have Facebook. What do we know about Instagram? And then he's the one who pushed us to create the Instagram page. Hot Brothers at Law was a phrase that we came up with years before that as a joke. I was representing a lot of cannabis people. We're brothers. We smoke pot. We're both attorneys. I said, hey, Pot Brothers at Law, I'm going to make a card. And I'm going to start giving it to my cannabis patients. Right. And that was probably like in 2011 or 2011 or something like that. January 22nd, 2015, my nephew, my brother's son, Jay Cures, comes into our office in the middle of the afternoon and says, hey, I have some friends who are doing a live stream.
Okay, we'll fast forward to Be Real Studio with Adam.
That's what I was talking about right now.
But you're taking too long
again.
You're taking too long to get there.
Are you bored, Senate? Are you bored, or should I continue?
No.
Let me finish. Or if you would have done it first, if you could do it better, but you.
I'll finish.
My big brother.
I'll finish.
My big brother's got to give me shit all the time.
I'll finish.
So he comes to our office and says, I have friends who want to interview attorneys. This is 2015, about the 2016 laws that are coming to California, making everything legal, but they want the attorneys to smoke pot with our host, Adam Ill, on a show called Getting High With at Be Real TV Studios. And we said, I said, okay, let's go. That man said, I don't know. What's the bar going to say? I don't know if we should be smoking like that. And we talked about it for 20 minutes. We had our medical recs. We're going to a private place. It's all legal. They don't mind. We busted up there that same afternoon. We did the Be Real TV Getting High with Adam Ill. And my brother decided he was going to, not knowing anything about social media, decided he was going to create the Pot Brothers at Law Instagram page, which he did. And if you notice, it's pot _brothers _at_law.
That's how we know he did it, right?
Yeah, because he put space, and that space bar created the underscores and all that shit, which created havoc for me because I'm the one who always has to say it. But that's how the Pot Brothers at Law were born.
Wow. First of all, I'm so thankful for that. YouTube
that was like 3 minutes.
Amazing service to the people. And shout out Jay Cures, West Coast Cure, big fan of everything he does, the merch, the product. And shout out Adam Ill. I was on his Getting High.
You didn't know that. You didn't know that.
I did not know that. I was just on his podcast, his first episode of this year. It was like the night.
We give him all the cred all the time that the show was born on his. Well, Pot Brothers at Law were born on his show. Literally
January 22nd, 2015.
After we smoked,
shout out
we were
Adam
on a
Ill.
live stream on the internet, and people were typing questions about Prop 64. And we were doing bong loads and dabs and joints and blunts, and we kept up.
Wow, love that. Yeah, I was just at a spot.
Breaking the stigma, and then it turned into, answering questions that most people don't have the access to an attorney. On Jarrett's idea, and then it started with, we're going to break the stigma. That's why in the beginning I would stand there and smoke. My brother would do the video, and if you didn't like that, I'm an attorney and I smoke weed. And then
I think that's amazing.
I know what? Don't hire me. And a lot of people didn't hire me, but whatever. Enough people do to pay the bills, but I didn't care.
Well, but to contrast, we've had people come to us after going to other attorneys, and they were like, you shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't do that, but we'll still represent you. but you shouldn't do that. It's bad, you know. And it's like, how are you gonna have somebody like that represent?
Imagine back in the day when it wasn't even legal and attorneys represented represented people, and it was horrible. Now, even with the licensed industry, you still got attorneys that are messing around.
No, to be attorneys and do that, that's brave and amazing. And I think so many other people can feel comfortable.
Well, I said, fuck it. What are they going to do to me? I mean, it's been 10 years. I mean, what are you going to do to me?
Well,
shout out Adam Hill in the chat.
Adam Hill, did he hear us? Did he hear us talking about him?
He can hear us right now.
His ears burning?
His ears are burning. Adam Hill.
Yeah. He said, get these old guys on and let's dab and smoke and talk about fucking stupid law. And we did.
And he was, I'll never forget. He was like, I'm a stoner. I got weed in my car. I mean, what do I do? You know, and that's when we, taught the script. And actually at that point, the script wasn't even invented yet. Because it was just invoke the fifth, shut the fuck up, and never consent.
Yeah. And then over time, it was we would talk to people and then develop the script. It was a whole bunch of stuff not to say, and then it ultimately boiled down to talking to other people, going, "Yeah, that's rude. What do you really say? What do you really say in that scenario that you're not going to be scared shitless? Because 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, you're going to be scared shitless with the cop coming up to the door."
That's why you have to practice this.
So what's the easiest thing? And that's how we ended up coming up with each line of the script is very non-threatening, and you simply
based in law.
You're going to say, "I'm not discussing my day" as the second line, instead of saying it's none of your fucking business.
Let's address people who say the script works for me and you guys as white people, but other people, right, might have a tough time using the script.
I have the answer. Hold on a second, because we have to respond to people. In the comments, we get comments, of course. We try to respond to everything.
Look how I interact with police, right? I do it in a way
absolutely.
Where I don't think people who are black or brown would have the same response from police a lot of times. So I think totally valid.
So here's our response. Standard response to that is, we understand the apprehension that you feel. However, no matter what you do, you may get violated. So we're recommending to preserve your 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. The mission of the script is to help citizens engage with law enforcement in such a way so as to ensure safety for all citizens and them. We say, if you are polite, stick to the script, keep quiet, don't make sudden moves. And if then they do something illegal, then they will be unable to say, "I was in fear for my life," which is always the claim they make 9 times out of 10, and they don't get prosecuted or they get acquitted. And when you do what we suggest, the power to be able to say she or he was in fear of their life is taken away. Bad ones are bad ones. If they're going to drag you out of the car and beat you, that's what they're going to do. If you follow our advice, they will not get away with it by using the crutch of "I was in fear for my life." Ultimate goal of the script isn't necessarily to not be arrested, to not get charged, but if arrested, giving you the chance, the best chance, to having them held accountable for unlawful actions, to protect and preserve your 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights in court for a criminal defense case or for a civil case that you may want to show violated your rights. When you go beyond that and you start saying other things and doing other things, that's what they're able to use. "Oh, you're resisting now. Oh, he was being aggressive now." If you just say our 29 words, and do everything else, get out of the car when they ask, comply with physical commands.
Right.
Then, if they violate your rights, and they're toast. And we've seen that. There's been cases where cops have been toast, they've been busted, they're going to jail, and that's kind of the scenario that happens when ultimately they do get busted, because somebody kept their mouth shut for the most part, did what they were supposed to do, and they took it to the next level. We have to de-escalate.
And for whatever reason, whether they're just there's those bad ones, and then there's ones who profile. I mean, it's just there. It is. So, like when people say this doesn't work for us, it's not a matter of, it's like what my brother just said. We have that almost as a canned response because there's really not much more to say. I get it. The fear is bad enough being a white person when a cop pulls you over and you start freaking out. I've done it. I've gone through it. 8 years ago, before we really started hammering all this, I learned about you don't have to do a field sobriety test. I didn't know that until about 8-9 years ago. And a cop wanted me to go to the car, and I said no. I said no, I'm not going to do a field sobriety test. He wasn't happy, but they ended up letting me go. I had to push the whole script, and every step of the way was like brutal.
And look at that same thing, right? I refused the field sobriety test, and the dude took me in, right? Yeah. He said, "Oh my God, you're retaliating," or he said, "I'm going to retaliate against you for exercising this right." And I spent that night in jail, and so that happens too, right? That happens too,
absolutely.
And you have to be ready for that to happen because this is a real issue. This isn't something that sometimes happens. Cops pull people over, they make things up, and they take you in without cause.
It happens every day. Someone came to us for a consult regarding a business that might be on the other side of the fence, and everybody's getting away with it on the other side of the fence, and it's like, oh well, like no one's getting in trouble for it. Well, no one, but every day someone gets in trouble for it. So every day there's law enforcement that are violating people's rights. So the only way to effectively fight it is really like you did. You say nothing and you video it and you say nothing. You say 25 words and you don't get baited. You don't get baited into a.
And it's tough because they're going to say, they go, "Hey, what time is it? Do you know what time it is?" And then you might feel dumb. You might know the answer. You might be 100% positive, right? It's like, and then you want to prove to them the answer. It's a tough situation. I've been in it, unfortunately, more than once, and it's hard to stay silent.
Lying. I've been through it.
It's hard,
dude. I had to sit there. I had to sit there and look up at the guy with his vest on and 18 feet tall. He seemed like staring down at me when I told him I'm not discussing my day. After I asked him why I put my lights on. And why my lights were turned off, and I told him, "Oh, damn valet turned off my lights." So I clicked my auto lights back on, and he goes, "Oh, where are you coming from?" And I sat there for a minute, and I go, "We've been talking about this and talking about this. Fuck, this is not easy to do. This guy's standing there." And I finally said, "I'm not discussing my evening. It was at night." And he ultimately did not like that. Got me out of the car, got me on the curb, wanted me to do a field sobriety test, and I politely declined it. And I got yelled at by him and his partner, and I just stuck to my guns. And finally, once again, I said at the end, after I did the whole script, word for word, I said, "Am I being detained? Am I free to go?" And they said, "Here's your license. Get out of here." And that was it. They tried to get me for a DUI. I came out of a restaurant, and I didn't even really drink at all. So
just Google innocent people arrested for DUI.
I'm not on that, but there's a lot.
But there's a lot, and it's because they don't know their rights. They don't know that in California and most states, but you still got to Google your state.
Please.
Field sobriety tests, touch your nose, walk the line. They're voluntary, along with the preliminary alcohol screener, the pass test on the side of the road, voluntary in California. Google your state. After arrest. In California, you got to do a blood, breath, or urine. If they think it's drugs, you got to do a blood test. And if you refuse that, the DMV revokes your license for a year for the refusal. And you could even get away with the DUI and it get dismissed in court, but the DMV still revokes your license for the refusal of doing the blood test. And they're going to get your blood anyway through a warrant.
After arrest.
After arrest.
Absolutely. And if anyone wants proof of this, bad cop arrest sober driver on YouTube, you can search it. That's me being arrested, me spending the night in jail, and ultimately being paid $70,000 in a settlement because I was wrongfully arrested.
Because you knew your rights.
That's how we met.
I knew my rights.
You knew your rights and you exercised them.
That is why. So I was filming the police for years before. I just never shared the videos, right? It's like I'd get pulled over and I would film and I would do just how I did. I'd film, I'd put the phone down. I wouldn't tell them I'm filming. I wouldn't hold it, but I would film. And usually I'd get a ticket. Sometimes I wouldn't get a ticket. But when the worst thing happens, I had this particular video that was everything. Now, if I were to go to a civil rights attorney and say, "Hey, this happened. The officer lied to me," without the video, I'm telling you, and I know a lot of civil rights lawyers,
Yep.
0% chance
Nope.
I'm getting, they're taking my case
Yep.
and helping me. So the video, the reason I tell people to always film the police is because I got a $70,000 check because I filmed the police. And look at all the other videos we've seen before
Yep.
and since.
Yep.
It's,
No,
it's
You would
endless.
think you'd stop. You know what's crazy? You would think
I know
you would
what you're
stop
getting-
seeing so many bad apples with what's on the internet. I'm an old man, and with what's on YouTube's, IG, Facebook, TikTok.
Because you know what, the going viral and the canceled or whatever it is not enough. And the reality is they keep their job. You know, less than 1% of officers found to have done wrong, do things illegal, all of the stuff that we would be not just fired for, but prosecuted for, they remain employed. And it's unlike no job in the world. You can't cost any job or your employer millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands. The officer who arrested me in Santa Monica, I can't believe how many times I'm mentioning it, but that was his second settlement. The first settlement was for $99,000. Less than 5 years
Well, that's
later.
dude, that's a whole nother podcast where we
Right,
bitch about
right.
the government.
Right.
Because the
So-
government, at whatever level, the government's fucked up.
I want to watch a checkpoint video that you guys just shared. Obviously, I tell people I've started this by telling people where checkpoints are, publicizing them. I think they're unconstitutional, but either way they exist. And when they're done in the public, we have the
Supreme
right
Court
to
didn't agree with you.
exactly. Well, in some states, not all states, right? Some states say, not constitutional. Here in California, they do them. So you guys had a video that I think got like 1 million+ views on
State line in
Instagram.
Florida.
Pot Brothers at Law. I think there it is.
Now, let me
Go
say.
ahead, let him go.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, so I was just going to say, a follower of ours sent this to us, whenever he sent it to us, and he basically used the script, sent this to us, and it's just a perfect example of the script in action and what can happen.
State line in Florida. We got
watch
highway
it.
patrol with a roadblock here.
Does the script work at checkpoints?
Absolutely does. Check this out right here.
What you got going on?
Everything good. Where you coming from?
It's none of your business. I don't want to discuss my day with you.
What state are you coming from?
I don't want to discuss my day with you.
Okay.
Am I free to leave?
Should I know? Should I get the cops?
Am I free to leave?
No, you're not free to leave right now. Should I get the cop to come and explain to you why we're here?
I don't wish to discuss my day.
Just need to know where you're coming from.
I don't wish to discuss my day.
So, hold on. Hey, get the cops from me.
Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
Not yet. Hey, yo.
Am I free to leave?
No.
Am I being detained?
No, you are not free to leave.
Am I being detained?
Sir? Lady here?
Am I being detained?
No.
So I'm free to leave.
He can
So
come.
I'm free to leave?
No, he can come and explain to you.
What's your name, sir?
No, I don't have
What is
it.
your name?
The cop is coming. You can go talk to him.
Sir, am I free to leave?
What's going on?
I don't wish to discuss my day with him.
Where are you coming from?
I don't wish to discuss my day.
You don't want to talk?
No, sir.
All right.
What's your name and badge number?
You're free to go.
Remember, it works everywhere, and never discuss your day with anyone.
Okay, but I will say this. He was a little bit aggressive, but he just utilized his Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights right there on the spot, utilizing, not discussing his day, and asking if he's being detained. And you saw what happened back and forth. Yes, no, you're not yet. No, you can't leave. And until the cop said, you're free to go, he was
go.
Yeah, I think when you're clear and articulate with the rights and you state them, I think more times than not, and then unless you're dealing with a bad cop, which a bad cop's going to be a bad cop whether you say your rights or not say your rights, you're going to be in better shape. you know,
Correct.
and I think, I don't know if he was holding the video or whatever, but obviously it can work out in the favor sometimes if they think you're videoing, because they know what that means too, right? But it's a tough line, because I don't encourage anyone to hold the camera, really. Yeah, what were you going to say, Mark?
No, well, yeah, never hold the camera, because they're going to cuff
Right.
you and it's going to fall out of your hand. That's why you just
Right.
you have it mounted, you have it there, and you have it recording. And like you said, or just have it there and it's recording. And if and when at some point they choose to take the camera and turn it off, we can, if we go to trial, say, why'd you turn the camera off at that point? Why'd you
Yeah.
stop the recording? Is there cops who refuse to do that? What's very interesting is we get people coming to us all the time. They get busted. They think, oh, I thought cannabis was legal now. Why? How come I got arrested? So it'd be interesting to know how many people are arrested from marijuana still in the United States, when so many people think that it's still legal.
Absolutely. Well, and let's get into that. Let's go into the laws that
Not
exist
legal.
regarding marijuana.
It's not legal.
And over 600 Americans are arrested daily for marijuana.
It's
And
not
those
legal.
it's
Because
not,
it's not
legal.
legal
Right.
anywhere.
It's decriminalized.
Partial.
Criminalized. It's
There's
decriminalized
limits.
to a point where there's stuff that's not criminal.
There's
But
limits.
There's a lot of shit that is criminal still that just people don't think about. We had a person in the office today. Oh yeah, it's legal. No, people are getting arrested every day. People are getting arrested
Wow.
for a baggie, a dime bag, a 10-pounder, a 10-pack, a 20-pack. They're getting arrested every day.
If
I
have
haven't heard
60
it that way. It's I haven't heard
Like
it this
what?
way before.
Like what way is that?
Well, I've heard like, okay, it's legal, but no, you're saying it's really
It's not legal. Why? If it's legal,
right.
go ahead.
Right.
If it's legal in California for adult use and medicinal, why are people still getting arrested? Why do they come to us?
I mean, right here it says legal for recreational use. Not really. If you have 29 grams, you got a misdemeanor, theoretically.
Up to an ounce you can have. If you have more than the limits, then you're looking at being
So
busted.
non-medicinal use is up to 1 ounce someone can have
in
Yes.
California.
in California. And what about in terms of plants, if they wanted to grow?
6,
or
I believe.
Six per household.
6 per household. If
Per
they do
household.
have a medicinal card or recreation
Different.
recommendation.
That'll cost you a consultation fee. No, I'm kidding.
So here, the difference is this. If you're an adult in California,
Get your card.
you can possess, yes. But if you're an adult without a medical card, 21 and over, you can possess up to 1 ounce of flour and what is it? How many grams of wax is it?
I want to say 8, but I'm not 100%.
I can't remember. Yeah, but it's you're maxed out at how many grams of wax you can get. You're maxed out at 6 plants per household with what you can grow for your own personal use. Now, if you get a physician's and as an adult, you can get all that stuff, but you can't smoke it in public. You can't smoke it anywhere but some private place or under your covers in your house without getting busted. If you have your physician's recommendation, now you're allowed to possess up to 8 ounces of any cannabis, flower.
Well, no, gotta say it right. There is what's called under the medical rules, guideline amounts. So under the guideline amounts, pretty much police right around before 64, cops got to pretty much know if you had your card and you were riding with 6 fucking pounds in 6 turkey bags, that you were okay. You were a medical patient. Here's my card. Here's my proof. And you got this up to 8 pounds. Now, if you had 20 pounds and you were a patient, you'd probably get busted. But you had the defense of, I needed 20 pounds for my medical use, which you still have that defense if you have a medical card. If you have over whatever guideline, because they're only guideline, because someone might need 20 pounds a month to make their butter, to make their concentrate, to smoke, to make tea out of, to whatever the fuck they do with that shit. Press it, cold press it, blah, blah, blah. And you get an expert That's a defense to, it's still a defense today, but it only works if you have your medical card.
Well, and the medical card allows you to argue that you possess whatever you medically need. So like my brother, if you
You have to prove it, but it gives you a defense.
You prove it with your doctors who suggested you use it, with a cannabis expert who breaks down.
Yeah, but the point is
100 plants,
without
how does it break down?
Without bogging down on it too much, the bottom line is, without that medical rec, you are looking at theoretically 1 gram over 1 ounce, and and there's no defense. There's no defense.
Get your medical card in California,
and we'll let you know. We'll give you a link later. We gotta find the right one who isn't going to screw you, which we've been looking for actually. But it's true. Get your rec, because remember this: we all medicate. They can call it recreational adult use. It's a bunch of bullshit. Everybody's medicating.
It's all medicinal.
Yeah, that's good to know. There's going over some laws specifically regarding driving in marijuana. It's obviously always DUI's a DUI, period. That's whether you're
How about this? Don't drive impaired.
On anything. On anything.
Driving under influence. Don't drive under influence. Don't
drive. No. Different. That's different.
We're not saying, let me make something very clear. We're not saying to drive under the influence of anything. You should not be driving under the influence of anything, quote unquote. But what you don't want to drive is impaired. You can be under the influence of something, and I'm not a doctor, and not be impaired, right? Just because you're under the, and that's why we got that word is
right.
As
People
a lawyer,
can
you got to jump on that word, under the influence, because
that's
people may smoke a lot of weed, but they get in a car to drive. They are not driving impaired.
Right.
No,
of course. No, and that's it could be the same for alcohol. Someone could have a beer and then safely drive.
That's
home,
right.
Right.
That's
so
right.
it's not.
So
it's possible to consume stuff.
Everybody's different. So, and the point we make is be responsible. If you're impaired on anything, if you're the guy who takes 1 shot and then don't drive. If you could take 5 shots and you're fine, maybe you're whatever, everybody know your limits. And then when you get behind the wheel and decide to drive and you're not impaired and you had 2 glasses of wine or a couple of hits or whatever you did, and you're not impaired and you get pulled over, that's where the danger lies, because I'm fine. Oh, I could do this. You want me to do that? You want me to say, I only had 2. You feel so comfortable because you're not impaired and you think this is ridiculous and they're going to just let you go. Never works out that way.
You know how many DUIs we get that we're waiting for the right guy who can.
We have it. Today.
Did he go?
He wants to go to trial if they push it. So here's what we're talking about. We have a client.
Real time.
He got pulled over because he was coming around a corner too fast and he fishtailed. And they pulled him over for fishtailing. And they come up on him and they say, "Where are you going so fast?" And he says, "Why did you pull me over?" "Well, you took that turn too hard, you fishtailed, and that's why we pulled you over." "Now, where are you going?" Whatever they asked, and he said, "I'm not discussing my day." "Well, I smell the marijuana," but in the police report, he smells burnt marijuana. But on the video, and when it was happening, and the 3 different times the cop said it, "I smell marijuana." If he smelled burnt marijuana at that time, did you guys just smoke? "I smell it. It's burnt. It's coming out. I smell it." So he changed the police report to make it sound worse, that it was burnt marijuana. Our client, he was a previous client before actually, and so didn't do the field sobriety test.
Good job.
They had him on the curb and all the lights in his face, and the cop goes, "I respect your rights. You don't have to do that stuff. But I could see right now there's all these lights and your pupils, they are dilated this big. And it's because what are you high on?" Well, I'm not discussing my day. And they ultimately arrested him because his eyes were dilated. He fishtailed. They smelled marijuana in the car. And when they were cuffing him and arresting him and taking his blood or his heart rate, it was 172. I mean, I think your heart would race if you're getting arrested and all that stuff. But they said that was because of some kind of drug that he was on.
Oh my God!
And
They
then
make
they
up
arrest-
anything.
And then they take his blood. He refused everything he was supposed to refuse. When he was arrested, he gave his blood like he's supposed to, and the nanogram count is, off the charts. It's like ours would be, as much as everybody as we smoke and all that stuff. So we're going back to court. We have our expert, and we're gonna fight it. And it's just there are so many bullshit cannabis. We have 3 of them going right now, actually. 3 cannabis DUIs bullshit. And unfortunately, one of my clients said, "Oh, I smoked an hour ago," and did all the field sobriety tests. It's still bullshit, and that was a guy I knew from high school.
But for you, but so everyone knows, it's harder as the attorney when they've done the field sobriety test, when they've said I had 1 drink an hour ago or 1 smoked an hour ago, 1 little puff an hour ago. All of that makes your job harder.
Yeah, well, because we have to worry about ultimately a jury hearing those statements. And,
Absolutely.
Orange County, someone's going to go, "Well, you smoked an hour ago. You smoked this morning? You shouldn't be driving all day. What are you doing?" Reefer madness is alive and well. So we don't want to deal with any of that. It makes it so much easier to fight these types of cannabis DUIs because we know it's going to be in your blood.
All right, we got a couple. Exactly. And I have a question on that, and we're gonna do some like rapid fire questions. Basically, one is if you didn't smoke all day, you get pulled over, you end up getting arrested. They draw blood, and they see blood in your system because you smoked last night, the day before. Anything to that?
Yeah. So the only way that's going to matter in any way, shape, or form is if you said, "Oh, I smoked yesterday. I smoked this morning," or if you say anything else, or if you do the field sobriety tests. They're subjective. They're going to use them against you. You don't do any of that, and all they have is your blood. Our expert, we can beat that. We can beat that because there's no proof of impaired driving because the THC nanograms in your blood. Here's the difference. DUI alcohol 0.08 in California, and different states have different levels, is a legal presumption that you're impaired to drive. A legal presumption based on testing for decades and all that stuff. They don't have that for cannabis. They don't have any kind of nanogram count that says, "Oh, this is too much." DAs up and down the state feel like 4 nanograms is too much. I recently, for my own benefit, to know, because I was curious, they're like 4 nanograms.
Oh, I had it on mute.
How much is it?
Yo,
Hey,
yo.
Shout out Jay Cures, Jarrett. What's good?
Hey!
What's up, man? It's your boy Jay Cures. What's
Yeah!
Yee!
You guys are live on a podcast right now or what?
Yeah, Twitch,
Yes.
Yep.
Kick, YouTube, X, everything.
got your
Goes then on
Cure Bag.
Spotify,
Hey,
goes
man,
on.
You know with me, it's always film the police and always shut the fuck up and always don't drink and drive smoking motherfucking fly.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're the man.
Bro. The best.
Checking in.
All right, love you, kiddo. I'll call you back.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Hey, shout out to Schechter. I see him in the comment. Sexy City.
Oh my God, is he really? Oh my God, that's a big joke. Craig is the best. Is a long running. I've known him almost longer than my brother's been alive, but not quite.
If someone is going to travel with cannabis, what's the best way to do it?
Travel how? On a car, plane?
Wait a minute.
Go
Wait a
ahead.
minute. We can't really answer that question, but what we can answer, we can't answer the best way to smuggle shit. Okay, we can't, right? But what I have seen, okay, what I have seen I have seen people, if they're taking personal amounts of cannabis, let's say they're flying, right? It's illegal. End of story. Done. Don't ask me no more. Don't ask me why. Don't complain. Don't bitch. It is what it is. It's illegal.
Run the risk.
Starting with that premise. I've seen people take personal amounts that'll last them a week, right? And most of it's packaged these days, and they have no issue flying with it, right? Theoretically, you could get in trouble and get a federal offense, okay? Whether it happens, I don't know. I can't make that, determination, but people do that, make sure it's not smelling up the joint and whatever. Take your risks. That's the same with any type of travel. No,
I mean, but vehicle specific. People think, okay, it's as you put it, decriminalized. Let's say you're in Los Angeles, you went to this dispensary, it can't be out, right? It should be tucked away. If they see it, it's a problem.
It's
in the trunk. Keep it in the trunk,
or in the back seat, in a bag, cover. Because what they don't realize, most law enforcement aren't really utilizing like it was supposed to be utilized. Is they're not doing anything illegal. They're smoking weed. There's no vehicle code for that, so they came up with an open container law, where if the container is open from the store,
like alcohol.
So really, theoretically, anytime you have it on your possession, it needs to be in a store sealed up package. If it's not in the trunk, that's technically they can still pull. If it's in plain view, and it looks like it's open, it's just like having an open beer, an open bottle of Xanax that's not yours.
Let me add this: if you have your vape pen in your pocket, and you get pulled over and taken out, and they pat you down. Now that's an open container ticket, the vape pen being in your pocket.
I mean, people don't realize, and the cops don't realize as much they can give that open container, but yeah. Huh?
In fact, in this case that I was just talking about, he had a dime pen, and one of the cops took it and wanted to book it, and another cop took it and put it back in the car and let him keep it for whatever reason, but that's just what happened.
And then they let this guy they took in on DUI, 3 hours later let him walk back to his car and take it on his own.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, 3 hours later.
In the name of public safety.
And the DA won't back off. Just won't.
Unbelievable.
Just because he did a fishtail. To me, he could almost get up on the stand and go, I did a fishtail, meant it. I was fine 100%. Did the fishtail. What does that have to do with me being?
Yeah, but then if we went through this today, you weren't there. I said, okay, if you want to be, because we talked about putting on a stand, cops, they're going to, how much do you smoke? Well, and before I asked him that, I said, well, how much do you smoke? He's like, I smoke like you. I smoke every day, all day. Okay, you're going to be on the stand, and they're going to ask you, how much do you smoke? And he was like,
no, it's this is why we talk it through and don't put people on the stand.
Because a juror, even if they heard us say,
I shout out ASAP Rocky.
In the afternoon, I medicate, and then I'm fine to get through my day. What 12 people are going to believe that?
No, no, you're right. You're absolutely 100%.
We're getting
right.
closer because, shout out AFTP, the nonprofit. I am executive director of, but our number one mission is to make jury duty cool. If some of those people, how many people in the country smoke? Half? Or at least
everybody.
Half. At least half.
I say everybody.
So
well, it
the
depends
jury,
where you live.
Right, but the jury should be part of that part too, right? There should be 50% of the people in the jury. If 50% of your community smokes cannabis, they should as well in the jury.
Those are your peers.
We're getting closer to that by encouraging it. The last question is, if you have a marijuana related conviction on your record, is there a way to expunge it?
So in California, depending on what that is, there is a way to potentially get it completely off your record, get it reduced, and also potentially expunged in a different way. It just depends on what type of conviction you ultimately have within the marijuana space.
Does the Pot Brothers at Law handle that? If people want to reach out, how can people find you? How can people reach out to you?
So we have our hotline, our pot line, 855 WASSLAW, WASSLAW, 855-WAS-LAW, 927-7529. You can also find our website, potbrothersatlaw.com. Instagram and TikTok are pot_brothers_at_law. And we're also on X and Facebook, Pot Brothers at Law, and YouTube, Pot Brothers at Law. We're basically on all social media platforms. You can find me on Snapchat at Pot Brother, no S, at Law, where I do that daily script review every single day. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? I invoke the fifth. I want my lawyer. And then I shut the fuck up, so it becomes muscle memory. And I will say this too. Because of our large social media platforms, we have a large community and network of attorneys across the nation. In fact, throughout the world, we have some attorneys in other parts of the world. We've created a worldwide attorney referral network. If you have some type of problem or legal need, no matter what it is, car accident, family law, will, contract, whatever it is, hit us up, 855-WAS-LAW, and we might be able to refer you to a good, honest, ethical attorney that I have personally vetted out over the years, and we refer wherever we can just to try to help people get to a good, honest attorney with whatever they need.
And one more item, and it goes what you said earlier, then we can wrap up, is people being so afraid, right? When the cop stands there and it's, what do you say? Am I really going to say this? Can I even remember, right? I tell people, one is, if you can't remember anything, just remember to STFU and don't talk. But we were actually asked, you can go to pbalmerch.com, and shameless plug, we have our last 25 words without the
29
attorney. Without requesting the attorney, we're going to change that soon. And this sticker goes where your oil change sticker goes. And you don't have to reach for the card, because we used to give you a card and say, here, in your wallet behind your ID. Read it, hope you never need it. And then you have to get it out of your wallet, right? Always. But it came with your ID when you say, hey, can I get my wallet? And it came out with your wallet. Now you don't have to look nothing. You can have your hands there and look straight up and go, okay, this is what I'm going to say. And just do it. And just do it. It's not going to hurt you. If it does, you're going to be in better shape if you didn't use it and you got hurt.
Hey, one more shameless plug. On pbalmerch.com, you can get our rolling papers, organic hemp with the crutch, that also has the script on it. So when you're rolling up to get educated, you get medicated and educated at the same time. And of course, the STFU hat. And the
Pot Brothers at Law _
Who'd have thought, sent it, huh? How many years ago?
We met you right in the beginning.
5 or yeah.
I think
it seems like a lot longer, which is a good thing.
I think it was.
It was 2016. I think that we got together.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Almost 10 years.
I am so proud, so happy for you with this podcast and everything that you've been doing and growing. It's been great. Watching.
I appreciate you both. You guys are legends. You guys are legends. I was at Jungle Boys dispensary. We were talking about you guys. Like at any time I'm at any event, it's always Pot Brothers at Law. It's always shut the fuck up. And that's how you become safer in these interactions.
Jungle Boys dispensary.
Yeah, it's on Alameda.
They need to carry the shut the fuck up pre-roll. Do you have a? Oh, I have it. I'll
put you in touch with them. We were talking about you.
We recently came out with the shut the fuck up pre-roll.
Love that.
And then we got the script right on it also.
Like $5 out the door pre-rolls.
$5, indica, no bullshit. Just good, solid.
Legends. You guys are the best.
Hey, no, we're gonna make you the plug. So you handle it. You get to eat off it, and I don't want to be. I just want to make money and sell.
Yeah, tell Jungle Boys we're ready to go. You be the middleman.
You get a piece. Come on, I know you.
Shout out Jungle Boys.
No, I'm sure. I'm actually serious. We'll talk later.
I'm down all day. I appreciate you both, legends. Again, you have any legal issues, consider Pot Brothers at Law without doubt. They are amazing. I trust them with anything I'd be going through, and so happy to have them on this episode.
And mention always film the police, and we'll give you that special discount.
Always film oh, you heard that. Mention MrCheckpoint. Mention always film the police when you call or reach out to the Pot Brothers at Law. Thank you both. Appreciate that for being
Thank
here.
you.
man.
Peace,
Be in
man.
touch.
Sounds good.
Have a great evening.
You as well. Peace, man. Wow, that was episode 5. Amazing. Episode 5 locked in. It will be on Apple Podcast. It will be on Spotify. Anywhere where you can listen to a podcast, you will be able to listen and watch the Pot Brothers at Law episode. If you have any sponsors that we should consider, if you have any guests that we should consider interviewing, please reach out, info@MrCheckpoint.com. That's info@MrCheckpoint.com. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is episode 5, and that's all we got. We were streaming live on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, X, Instagram. So if you're not following there, make sure you follow on one of those platforms. And the last thing I'll mention is we are live on Substack. That's right, Substack. Search Mr. Checkpoint, and we will be sharing a lot more DUI checkpoint info as we confirm locations and alerts. So stay tuned to that. Appreciate y'all. Be safe.